time for us to have a conversation with Jadesola Oshiberu. Now, when you talk about top director and film producers in Nigeria, her name is definitely worth mentioning. She's not just an award-winning film director and producer. She's also directed and produced quite a number of box office movies. And by box office, we're talking about Isoken, Sugar Rush. I really enjoyed watching Sugar Rush, by the way. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us.
To be here.
Great. Okay, so we're going to start from the scratch and see whether we can pull everything within the few minutes we have.
Thank you.
Why filmmaking?
I've wanted to be a filmmaker since I was 13. I was very good at the sciences. I was a science and technology sort of student. And both my parents are engineers. So they pushed and they wanted me to be an engineer because it felt logical. I was getting A1s. And it was
I'm sure it felt natural as well.
Doing
so well.
Yes, exactly. I was getting all these A1s in maths, further maths, physics. But then on the side, in school, I was also organizing stage plays. So I would write and direct stage plays. I was winning awards for that. And I was just really excited about that. So I went off to uni and studied electrical engineering, but my eye was always on filmmaking. Luckily, when I came back to Nigeria after studying, I got a job at GTB at the bank. And there was this project, everybody was saying, you know, do something innovative. So I came up with this idea of doing something on YouTube content. And very weird that my journey as a filmmaker started at the bank, where I was supposed to be just being corporate affairs. But that's where my journey started. So I started writing and directing things like Giddy Up. Very many people now don't know Giddy Up, but back then it was quite something. Skinny Girl in Transit, which I produced and co-wrote. A number of things on the platform. So when it became time, I was like, look, I really want to make a film. And so I wrote Isoken. And I directed it and produced it at the first time filmmaking. Wow. It was a very, very scary journey.
I can imagine.
I didn't even know it was going to do so well because we had to borrow money from the bank of industry to make it. So it was such a huge risk and a scary thing. But luckily, it did really well.
Now, from the time of Giddy Up and then, of course, when you finally decided to go solo in quotes. By the way, that's Isoken on your screen right now.
Yes.
Yeah, so from that moment till you did this movie, it's hard to believe that this is the first time you'll be breaking out on your own, and yet you made something this phenomenal. Because I know Isoken was big, probably is still big, really, for so many people. And so from there, you went on to Sugar Rush. So what's the story behind Sugar Rush? Because I know when we're talking about Sugar Rush, the first two people that come to mind, Banky and his wife. And so most people thought it was their movie until you check the credits. So how did you come about getting that done?
So Sugar Rush, for me, I wanted to make something really fun and big and just a fun ride for some people to watch at December, you know, Christmas time with your family and friends and all that. And so I wanted something relatable as well. So the idea of ordinary people bumping into a ton of money, like what would you do if you found $800,000 today?
You said?
If you found $800,000, like, you know, what would you do? Would you take it? Would you like spend it? Like, what would you return it? Would you just leave it? You know, and if for a lot of Nigerians, this idea of corrupt politicians sort of in with our money and then us having access to that money they've taken, it's sort of on the deeper layer. I was also questioning our own integrity as well. Like, so
that if we were in that position, would we not do the same?
Right? So that also for me was that layer of, we have to see ourselves as these girls and see that actually we're not better than politicians that we're abusing. Or we would probably steal this money as well. We would probably spend it on things that are useless because people think that they will take it. I'll go and put it in charities. They lie. You're going to floss. You're going to, you know, go partying. You're going to do this. So there was always that dilemma between the characters. So Adeswa plays this person who's sort of trying to get them to do what's right. You know, they have, I mean, we all have a story. It's tempting,
but she was trying to do what's right.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I mean by we all have a story. Yes, you have a mother that's ill, but there are other ways to find money for your mother that is, you don't have to steal money for that. But that was her own personal, you know, kidding with it that, look, I'm doing this for my family, whilst her sisters were doing it to enjoy. And
now, you know something, Jade?
Yes, please.
With these two blockbusters behind you, in quotes, Isoken, and of course, talking about Sugar Rush. You're now about to do yet another, that's Sugar Rush on screen right now. Very interesting one. You're now about to bring out yet another, in quotes, blockbuster. Do you feel challenged or intimidated about the possibility of doing better than you did with the previous two?
No, not at all, because every film is different. So the audience for Sugar Rush and the audience for Ayinla are quite different. Ayinla for me is a heritage. So, quick story, before I went to university even, I always wanted to work with Tunde Kilani as an intern. So to come around from my journey to now end with me collaborating with him as a producer on a project where he's directing, it's like a massive dream come true. I don't know about you, but I grew up watching Shawari there.
Of course. Those are the big things growing up.
Yeah. Like, we didn't watch a lot of, funny enough, in our household, we didn't watch a lot of Nollywood, but we had Yoruba films. Like, my parents like mainframe productions. And so it was such a big influence in my own life. So to come around and produce a film that he's directing is such a dream come true. And when he told me about the story of Ayinla himself, Amamura, you know how he ends up, when he died at the peak of his career, I was so intrigued by the story. I was so intrigued. It's such an amazing story about this man who was such an icon in Yoruba culture and music. And at the time, he was being compared to Fela, to Bob Marley. He was creating this unique Akpala style that sounded like rap, and So I was immediately sold, and I was like, look, when can we start? So no, I'm not challenged at all. I don't expect it to do exactly what Sugar Rush did. It's its own film. Let it do what it does. Let it find its own
I like
audience.
that. I've noticed that you have a thing for every film has its own direction, and you always take your time before bringing out new projects. Absolutely. Very commendable. 5 years' time, what do you expect to have achieved?
5 years' time, we're going around the globe in Jesus' name. It's a global... So luckily, Nollywood is really growing, and there's a lot of a big appetite for African and African-inspired sort of content all around the world. So by the grace of God, 5 years' time, we're on the global stage.
Okay, I actually know what's going to happen in 5 minutes' time. Amen. And that's besides the show ending. I know she's going to have had breakfast by now, by then. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Jadisola Oshiberu join the performer we had earlier in the kitchen with the ladies while we take a look at the trailer for Ayinla.
Thank you.
Mo gbọ́ wípé òun plan láti gbé Àyìnlá Ọmọwúrà lọ sí London for a musical tour.
Ṣebí wọ́n ní kò sáyé àpàdà ní London. New York bá wa rọ́ọ̀lù ṣé kí n máa wòran ni.
What did we do to him? Àyìnlá nìkan ló lè ṣe.
We are in business.
Wow, that looks amazing. Looks great.